Oh, before I begin, I want to make sure that I say subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you like this video, please like it. Hello, you all. All right, I am back and I am feeling much better than the last time that you saw me. If you watched the Therapist Reacts to Life video, you'll know that I went through I was going through a tough thing, and honestly, I'm still going through it right now. I've had some health stuff that's just been really stressful. It was just feeling like it just weighs me down, and then also seeing different healthcare providers and everybody having a different opinion about what they think is going on has been really fun. Just kidding. Two cysts on one of my ovaries that's causing issues. There's other things that they're worrying about with potential like pituitary issue, just because I haven't talked about this yet, but I had a very horrific childbirth experience, I guess you would say. And I do think that if I have a platform, I do want to talk about this. And before I get into the Albatross, which I will get into that reaction, do you want to just say, obviously, anyone who is having a child, it is up to you. It's your body, however you want to have it. Ideally, I really wanted like a water birth, and I was thinking about how, you know, childbirth was going to be, and it was so far from that. But days before I went in, I was overdue. Like, I was over 41 weeks, and so I had to be induced on a Tuesday, and I didn't have my son until Thursday at 6 a.m. So it was a long time. I was so relieved because once I gave birth to him, I was like, yes, it's over. Just because I was one of those people that I did not enjoy pregnancy at all. I did not like it. I had what they call morning sickness, which is actually, you know, wasn't just in the morning. It was all day, every day. Like, seriously, a client would leave my office and then I would go and puke in the trash can. Like, it was insane. So I threw up all day, every day from 7 weeks until 17 weeks. And I know some women have it way worse than me. Pregnancy was like feeling as if I was just on a ship. Like I was out at sea and I just was like on a boat rocking back and forth. That's the feeling I had. So I thought pregnancy was going to be much different and this amazing experience, which it is, you know, an experience. I didn't like it. So when I finally gave birth to my son, I was like, yes, like no more of this. Basically what happened was my ex, he told me that the doctor immediately was like looking and like looking at the blood and like looking concerned, and then he said he saw just like blood filling up on the floors. And so I started hemorrhaging. I cannot say that word. Hemorrhaging. That's still not right. Hemorrhaging. Anyways, the placenta was attached to the uterus. They never saw it on an ultrasound, but so after you give birth, you then give birth again to placenta, and I couldn't. So it was very drastic. They did code blue, and I was taken into an emergency surgery where they did a DNC, and then they took this balloon and they blew it up inside of me. They were going to do a hysterectomy, but for some reason they didn't. And I think because they thought, you know, I was young and they thought maybe I'd want to have another child and whatever. I mean, at this point, I'm like, just take it all. I wish they would have just taken it all out. But I say that, but I know it could really affect your hormones. So I then had, I think, 2 or 3 blood transfusions, and they were having me sign off on things. And I just was like, I don't want to do this. I just want to meet my son. And they tried to put him on me for a minute, and then they're like, we have to go. And so I went into another surgery, and that's another story. I have never been the same since that one because I was aware of everything that was happening. It wasn't a near-death experience as if I was on the ceiling looking down at what was occurring. I was more like in the room, but that's for another time.
Another story for another time.
But I had what was called a uterine artery embolization. And so it was just to get the bleeding to finally stop. And then when they took me out, I was in the ICU for a couple days, and that was horrible. We're like, you can't move your right leg, and I started to just like stay there for 4 hours, and they gave me Demerol, and then I threw up all over myself, and I just was like, had to just lay there in it. It was horrible. So it was a lot of blood very drastically, and I, was anemic after, and all kinds of different things. And so I think that that's still affected me now. It was a horrible thing because my son, whenever you're in the ICU as a new mom, they will only bring your child in for like 30-minute increments, and they have a security guard waiting out front. And, just trying to breastfeed, which wasn't happening, and then having him taken away, and then just like dealing with it, just being like, what in the world is going on? And then my poor parents, like just seeing their faces when they saw me, it was pretty awful. And then knowing, my son wasn't with me, and so I've just had a lot of guilt, even though it's inappropriate guilt because there was nothing I could do about it. But it's just it's hard. But why I'm also telling this right now, they told me that if I would have been a woman back in the olden days giving birth, not in a hospital or something, I definitely would have died during childbirth. And I just want to tell any woman who is considering having a home birth to maybe reconsider, or just be close to a hospital at least, or a facility, just in case something goes wrong, because you never know. Because for me, it happened so fast, so unexpectedly, and you think that these things are rare, and I guess they're not totally rare, but you always think it'll never happen to you until something happens to you. So I just ask that, I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I'm saying everyone can make their own decisions for their own bodies, of course. And at the same time, please consider being near a hospital in order for it to save your life. It saved my life. I think why I also want to bring this up is because I've been on TikTok lately. I've been watching the stuff on Ballerina Farm, which I just cannot stop watching and reading about. If you know, you know. And about Nara Smith. And I know that they've had home births, and just saying as if the baby just dropped right out of them. And I'm sure, yes, that can very well happen, but I think that it's important to include, that things can go wrong. And they were just amazing and saved my life. So I am very grateful for it. But I have never been the same from that. There was something that happened in that second surgery that I can't really explain. It was very bizarre. Also think that sleep has had a very big impact on me, my lack of sleep. Luckily, I had some family come up, and I was able to take Lunesta, which helps me sleep through the night. So I got quite a few days in where I slept straight through the night, because my son often goes through these phases where he wakes up at 4 a.m. and doesn't go back to sleep. And since there's no summer camp, no school right now, it's been a doozy. So all of it has affected me, and I'm just realizing how much my mood and energy level is affected by lack of sleep and also not feeling good. So anyways, long-winded, that's my update. You all have asked for the Albatross for quite a while, so I am very excited to get into it. And knowing that this is the Tortured Poets Department, the album it came off of, I know when I hear the Albatross, I think about it from poet standpoint. And I think 1798, the rhyme of the ancient mariner is this poem that's called the Albatross. Albatross is a symbol of good luck, but there was this mariner that thought that it wasn't. Who knows why? He didn't think it was, so he thought it was a villain. It was a false villain, and so he shot it down. And as soon as just knowing that backstory and right there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder, like this song's gonna be loaded, because he shot it down. And really, by him shooting that Albatross, it was like sent the ripple effect of misfortunes in his life because he did that. With that poem, it's totally about, I think, blame and what you blame and why you do it and why you choose to take out, why you choose to look at people and label them with a certain type of symbolism, which we do all the time. That's the only way that we make meaning in life. So it's not anything that's, you know, out of the ordinary. It's very ordinary to do something like that, but it's a very human mistake, I guess I would say. Sometimes I think people, we want to blame anything but the real issue. All right, so I don't know what the song is about, but for some reason, I feel like poetry, the Albatross, it feels like, yes. Okay, let's do this.
Wise men once said, wild winds are death to the candle. Rose by any other name is a scandal. Cautions issued, he stood shooting the messengers. They tried to warn him about her.
Okay, I have to stop. This is beautiful already. Wild winds are death to the candle, because like winds put out flames. So a candle can't do what it's made for if there's wild winds. And then she says a rose by any other name. That is a scandal. She's taking that from William Shakespeare, where he says a rose by any other name wouldn't smell as sweet. So instead of looking at a rose as a gift and unique, like a certain person represents that, but she's saying that this is twisted. They have it wrong. They're saying a rose by any other name is a scandal. They try to warn him about her. I love it already.
Cross your thoughtless heart, only liquor anoints you. She's the Albatross, she is here to destroy you.
Oh, she's so good. Your thoughtless heart, liquor anoints you. I mean, so it's not things anointing that are positive. She's the Albatross. She is here to destroy you. It's not true. She's actually not there to destroy. That's my thoughts.
Wise men once said, one bad seed kills the garden. One less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen. Locked me up in towers, but I'd visit in your dreams, and they tried to warn you about me.
This is like her reputation, and people, I mean, it could be just working with her, it could be in a relationship with her, you know, this could be taken a million different ways. And it's just, she's saying wise men once said, but they're not wise. One bad seed kills the garden. That's not true, because I garden all the time and I have to pull out certain plants. I mean, it's certain plants can affect other. Okay, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna stop. And one less temptress, one less dagger to sharpen. I mean, it's giving a lot of like a violent imagery here, you know, of killing something. They're talking about her because she's saying, lock me up in towers. You know, they tried to shame her, keep her captive, keep her away, because they believed that she was dangerous. Son thinks so too.
Cross your thoughtless heart, only liquor anoints you. She's the Albatross, she is here to destroy you. Devils that you know, raise worse hell than a stranger. She's the death you chose, you're in terrible danger.
Ooh. There's something kind of like eerie about this, and I love it. I agree that people that you know can raise more hell than strangers, and that's terrifying and horrible and painful. I mean, just speaking from the standpoint of betrayal. But I think by her saying she's the death you chose, I'm thinking about the poem, you know, of the Albatross, and how the mariner shot the false villain and it caused all of this misfortune. What he did was he got karma. So I think she's taking it on like the Albatross's revenge in a way. You chose to kill me. Ooh, I just got a chill. It reminds me of My Tears Ricochet, which I have tattooed right here, because in that song she says, you had to kill me, but it killed you just the same. And it's kind of like an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. You chose this death, because by killing her, she's just warning you're in terrible danger. Yeah, karma's coming to get you. All right.
And when that sky rains fire on you, and your persona non grata, I'll tell you how I've been there too, and that none of it matters.
Okay, so she's talking about like when you go through hell and you become this unwelcome person, because that's basically what a persona non grata means. She'll be able to empathize with you and reassure you that it's totally fine. Like when people have you wrong in life or have you painted a certain way or label you a certain way, give you a bad reputation, tell lies about you, she's basically like, I'll be there to support you and say like, I get it, I've been there. It's so beautiful.
Wise men once read fake news and they believed it. Jackals raised their hackles. You couldn't conceive it. You were sleeping soundly when they dragged you from your bed, and I tried to warn you about them.
Oh man, so good. People who are perceived as wise men aren't always actually wise men. Jackals raise their hackles. What does a jackal do? They hackle you, make fun of you. And she's saying that these jackals, these jerks, their laughter got louder and louder, and they point at you and they make fun of you. And you're like, I never saw this coming. When she's saying you couldn't conceive it, like you literally can't see it coming and don't think that it would be as bad as it really is. And that imagery of like you were sleeping soundly in your bed when they like, dragged you away. You thought everything was okay. It's being ambushed, basically. So she's now speaking from experience to someone, saying like, I warned you, like this was gonna happen.
So I crossed my thoughtless heart, spread my wings like a parachute. I'm the Albatross. I swept in at the rescue. The devil that you know looks now more like an angel. I'm the life you chose, and all this terrible danger. This terrible danger.
Interesting that you can't really see terrible danger right there when she had to repeat it again. They painted her as a devil, and now I think the person that she's with or talking to sees that she was really this angel, and that, you know, you're choosing this life with danger, but it's not really real, you know?
So cross your thoughtless heart. If she's the Albatross, she is here to destroy you.
Wow, okay. This is just making me think a little bit more in the context of relationships. Totally wrong here, but it makes me think about how people probably, you know, with her coming to the games and the uproar, the people who had issues with it, it's like she's nothing to be worried about. You know, you're not in any danger, and it's just a false narrative. It's just fake news. You know, it's headlines and it's not the truth. And if anything, she's actually the one who's going to be bringing in all of the fortune if you treat her right. And if you shoot her down and listen to outside people who actually aren't wise men, then you will really encounter danger. I don't know. I feel like it's so beautiful. I love this song, and I'm sad that it's taken me this long to actually listen to it. Like that kind of breaks my heart, because I've been needing a song like this. I love it. So thank you all for recommending it. All right, you will take care.